Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today's topic is about emptiness. If you have been studying Buddhism, I'm sure you have come across the concept of emptiness. What is emptiness? As we also heard, the Pali word sunyata. Okay, so what is emptiness and what is sunyata? Emptiness has to do with non-self. Okay, so it has to do with the idea of self and non-self. Okay, if for those who have studied about anatta, non-self, okay, they can probably have some idea of what emptiness is or what Buddhists talk about emptiness. Okay, so as we all know, as a human being, we have a body and we have the mind, right? And the mind is the operating software that is doing all the things, okay? All the seeing, all the hearing, right? All the thinking going on, it has to do with our mind, right? So when our mind comes to be, when we become conscious, when we wake up in the morning, okay, that's when our mind comes to be, okay, our conscious mind. And then we recognize our surrounding, we recognize ourselves, okay. So we have memories that we access in order for us to become familiar with our surrounding, okay. Without our memory, we would not be able to recognize who we are, okay. So in order for us to access that memory that we have stored over the years, first we have to become conscious, okay. So when we wake up, we become conscious. So consciousness is the base of what we call ourselves, right? We refer to ourselves based on this consciousness. We are conscious of what we see or what we hear, we all the experience that we have through our five senses. So what is emptiness then? Emptiness has to do with non-self, of course, as we have broke down the aggregates that we have studied, right? The five aggregates that we have looked into, the form, right, which is the form aggregate itself, and the other four aggregates, right? The contact that we have, the perception that we have of the world, okay, that make us recognize who we are. So those are the five aggregates, which lead us to experience what we are experiencing, what we are aware of right now. So emptiness is on the other side in a way, okay, because when we go to sleep, okay, when we go to sleep, all of our senses shuts down, right? They take a rest. So when they take a rest and the mind goes to rest, as I'm sure we are aware of that now, when the mind take a rest at night, you are not there, right? You can sleep for 6 hours straight, 7 hours straight, or whatnot. During that time, there's no sense of time during that duration, okay. The duration of the 5, 6, 7 hours, or even during the nap time that we have, that you have, an hour, half hour, or whatnot, you close your eyes, okay, and then when you open your eyes back up, all those times are gone, right? All those times are gone. So what happened? So what is it that we are talking about here? So emptiness is that. Emptiness has everything to do with our consciousness. Okay? Without our consciousness, there isn't anything. Okay? All of the surrounding that we are experiencing, okay, there has to be consciousness. There has to be awareness, right? We are aware of everything around us, and including our physical body, okay, including the way, including our mind thinking. We are aware of all of that because we are conscious, okay. So when we are not conscious, there isn't anything, okay. if if you can picture that, okay, I know it's kind of a little bit strange, and it's a strange concept, that so does that mean there is nothing? It's not like that. Things, the material things are there, okay, but all of these things that you see around you, okay, that you experience, all the things that you feel right now, your body, your physical body, the sound, okay, every little thing is based on that consciousness that you have, okay. Without consciousness, if you can picture, close your eye and be still, and if there is no consciousness, there is nothing, okay. So everything depends on consciousness. Without consciousness, whether the world or the universe or whatnot, doesn't matter what it is. Without consciousness, where is it? There isn't, right? So it's like a, so emptiness is embedded, or in a way, is embedded within the the material side of things, okay. Like the four great elements, the earth, wind, uh, fire, and water, okay. Those are the four great elements, and emptiness is embedded in those four elements, okay. Those four elements are always there, okay. They exist forever and ever, okay, in the universe, okay. Everything that is around us, that is, those are all comprised of, they all have those four elements as their qualities, okay. So but without consciousness to experience those four elements, there isn't anything, correct. So there has to be consciousness, okay. So that consciousness is a form of energy, okay. So it's a life energy in a way that enable us to experience what is not empty, okay. So what we are experiencing right now is these material things, okay, through our consciousness energy, okay. So consciousness is the door, okay, is a gateway from emptiness, from, or you can call nothingness, some people call nothingness, but literally it's not nothing. It's something, but it's not there when consciousness is, it's not present. So when consciousness arises, then there's this universe that we experience. But without consciousness, there's no one, quote unquote, no one to experience the material world, right? So when there's no consciousness to experience the material world, whether the material world is there or not, it doesn't matter because there is no consciousness to experience it. So in another word, that is, in a sense, is empty. Okay, it's just one of those quotes that you have seen some other time, or you heard people ask, if a tree falls in the forest, okay, and you are not there, does the tree make sound? Right? Does the tree make sound at all if you are not there to experience it? So this is the same way. The universe, your environment, everything around you, okay, if there is no consciousness, it's all empty, okay, because there is nothing to experience this thing, okay. So consciousness or emptiness has to do with non-self, okay. uh, Non-self is a form of consciousness that is experiencing the material world. In a way, it's a little bit confusing, I know, but that is the idea, that is the concept in Buddhism, that a lot of people, that becomes, it's difficult to uh, to a lot of people to understand, right? That some people even ask us, so if it's emptiness, if it's nothingness, does that mean that there's an annihilation or annihilism or something like that? But it's not quite that, okay. There's no denying about the material world, okay. The four elements, the four great elements are there, always there, okay. But emptiness, again, I'm repeating myself, is based on consciousness. Without consciousness, without that life energy that make consciousness arise, everything is empty of its, in a sense, it's empty of itself. There is no meaning, no uh, no nothing, right? So again, it can be simply understand by you experience it yourself, that when you go to sleep, when you close your eye, when your consciousness shut down, or it goes, and when your body goes to rest and it goes to the subconscious level, now you're not aware, then there is no world, okay. There's no world, there's no you, there's no family, there's no car, there's no house. That's what emptiness means, right? Emptiness is the other side of the experience that we experiencing through our five senses. That's what emptiness means. Another way of looking at emptiness is through non-self, right? Or anatta. Emptiness is universal, okay? And what does that mean? Emptiness has to do with the understanding of the ultimate reality, okay? What we are experiencing right now, what we are living right now, that we call living, that is conventional reality, okay. And there is all the ultimate reality of everything. So what does that mean? It means that, for example, as we have covered before, when it has to do with the self-identification, right? The word self will refer to this body or the mind, right? And the same thing that goes with all the material things around us, all the everything around us, trees, cars, water, house, environment, everything around us. Okay, in the, we all give them as human being in order for us to refer to something, to have language to communicate. We label things, right? And because of that, we tend to have this delusion that it's real, right? For example, this cup right here, okay, we call it a cup, right? Or a mug, M-U-G, right? So we call it a cup or a mug. But in reality, in the ultimate reality, okay, is there a mug? Is there a cup? Okay, that is what we're talking about. Okay, in reality, this is comprised of clay, right? Of different material put together. Okay, and we shape it in this form. We we paint some. We put some painting, some color on it. Okay, and we put handle, and we shape it like this, right? And it's made of dirt, made of clay, and with ceramic around it, and we burn it, and so we put together things, and we call it a cup or a mug, right? So in the conventional reality in this world, this is called a cup or a mug, right? But in reality, it's made of different materials, right? There are different materials in it that come together to create this, okay? And when we create something like this, with a handle like that, we give it a label as a mug or a cup, okay? So the word mug or the word cup is just a label. It's just like my name. My name is a label, right? A table is a label. But in actuality, the table is made of different kinds of material: the wood, the legs, and the top, the bottom, and different parts. Okay, so in the ultimate reality, everything in the universe, the entire universe, it comes down to the four great elements that I have mentioned earlier. All right, it has to do with earth, which is matter, right? Wind, which is the energy that makes things move, right? Water, the moisture, and temperature or fire. Those are the four great elements that exist, that make that is always there in the universe. And those four great elements comes together, and when we into a different shape, human being with its intelligence is able to put a label through language, put a label on certain particular things as this, as that, in order to communicate. But in the ultimate reality, there is no cup, there is no car, there is no house, there is no uh, clothes, there's no soul whatsoever. Okay, so that's what it means by emptiness. It means that there isn't anything really exists. Okay, but there are those four great elements that are the base of the universe, that is just there, right? And with those base, it creates all this great illusion of things that in conventional world, it seems like there are things that exist of itself. But in the ultimate reality, when we break it down, we look through it, it's just like we talk about in the rupa lesson, right? The form, the body here, that we usually identify as who we are. But in actuality, it's just different particles, different things that come together, create the eye, the ears, the brains, the skull, and all that, right? It's just a combination of everything. in reality, so we label this as a body, right? But in actuality, the body doesn't exist. It's a label. Okay, so that's what the ultimate reality is, and that's what anatta or non-self means, and that is emptiness right there. So emptiness is a concept that points to the ultimate nature of things, that there isn't anything that really truly exists in a sense of the ultimate reality. What's the benefit that from understanding emptiness? Once we understand emptiness thoroughly, it relieves us from the suffering that we have by clinging to the self-identification I. We all suffer because of our delusional thinking that I exist. That's what it comes down to. Okay. In the conventional sense, we have this I. But in the ultimate reality, the I does not exist. Understanding emptiness leads us to that. Okay, the ultimate reality. And when we understand the ultimate reality of all things, of the universe, of ourselves, of everything around us, our families, trees, nature, all the environment, sun and moon, earth, and all the planets, the nature of emptiness of all things, then we become less and less clinging. Okay, the clinging to this self I is a delusion that we as human beings we all have. Okay, but in reality, in the ultimate reality, it's empty, and this creates the release. Once a person truly understands this, they experience the release of bonding to the delusional reality, the conventional world that we are living in. That's what it boils down to. So the benefits of understanding emptiness truly, thoroughly, is that we have less clinging to things. We tend to have less clinging to this self-I, because the whole world is clinging to this I, right? So because the whole world is thinking that I exist, okay? So therefore, when I exist, I want to attach to things, cling on to things, gathering more material, gathering more power, gathering fame and fortune and wealth and all that. And that what creates suffering. That what creates conflicts and war. Okay, it is because of our delusional thinking mind that we all exist. Okay, once we can understand the ultimate reality of existence, we can live in peace and harmony in the conventional reality. You see, if the person can truly understand the ultimate reality that everything is empty, and then in the conventional world, that we are experiencing right now, the person can live peacefully, harmoniously with everything around him or her, including him or herself. Because after all, the four great elements that make us all with life energy provide us a unique experience to experience what is not empty. Okay? We experience what is not empty, which is in the conventional realm. In the ultimate realm, it's empty. So I hope that helps out a little bit with the people who try to understand what emptiness means. So this is my perspective. Until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma. And I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.